proud of the performance really in all phases of the game. There were a couple little sloppy moments, but all in all, well done. When you get that kind of starting pitching, that's how the game is designed, and you dream of having that sort of performance out of your three starters. Doesn't always happen. These guys give you the capability to do that and string this thing along, and they're all left-handed, but they're all unique. And I thought all of the guys were in control of the game, and that team is very action-oriented, and they do a good job with the running, and their short game stuff is obviously good. So it does put a little bit more pressure on the pitcher to execute and manage some of the aspects of the game that you don't see every weekend. But it's probably as good as I've seen all three. But today, Jamie, when you're 94, 98, and the slider, the changeup, and little cutter that they introduced, pretty dang good. Wes, along the same lines, his curveball was as good as I've seen it today. It was in the Vellini. Like, all of the guys are different. I'll give you a comparison. It looked a little bit more like Vellini's. It had that late, firm depth to it. His changeup was really good. Probably the best I've seen that. And he moved his fastball around. And the 1-4-3 double play kind of helped him get out of a little bit of a mess. Very pleased. The offensive stuff, much better this weekend. And I think as this went along, you saw the capability of some of their arms that they have. And to kind of put a cap on this thing, the add-on runs, when it's a 3-1 game and you get Jackson West doubles, he's trying to steal third, the base hit, Ty scores him, that's 4, home run, it just extending that lead, even though it's not a big number, when you're at that point in the game in the weekend and you have the bullpen fresh, relatively fresh, it's kind of feels like you've added more than one at that point. So really proud of the guys and the energy, and this is a long day. I mean, those guys were here at 8:30 this morning and it's 6:40. So that's a full day, and inning in, inning out, the performance and the effort was really good.
I know we're probably going back like 5 hours for this one, but Miles Bailey continues to just absolutely mash, and I think he broke the stats on his home run in the
TrackMan doesn't get it. I was in between games. You're curious because you see a lot of stuff that you think back, I've seen that before. I don't know that I've seen that. And I don't know what he has other than just the pure strength that the machinery doesn't seem to grab hold of. And I did talk today, the ball he hit back through the middle at 115, I don't follow all of the exit velocities around college baseball, but the bats are designed to limit the exit velocity. That's the point of the bat change that happened years ago. So there might be an end game to the exit velocity, but that one he hit the center field, and it was a big moment. Like, that's a good arm. And to hang in there on that slider, and that's the first inning, I believe, and kind of get this thing going, and Jamie's on it, and just the momentum and the energy in that 15 or 20 minutes is as nice as you could ask for in this sport.
Are you seeing a change of mentality from him from like the very beginning of the season? Like, he went from kind of acting a little bit more like a freshman to acting like a veteran player in 2-3 weeks.
Yes, the experience goes a long way, and I asked him, is he tired? I kind of got on him a little bit, having some fun with him like later in the game, because you can't back down. And I felt like in the middle of some of these good at-bats, he mentally backed down a little bit. So until the guys experience a day like this, he's probably never had a day of baseball like this. You just continue to add growth and experience, and every one of those at-bats counts the same. And that was kind of my point to him on the back end of this. Like, you got to lock into this thing for the entirety of the competition. The play he made at the end, I guess that kind of answered that, because along the lines of the home run, I don't know that you see that every day either.
You mentioned already, but today is such a long day, and you won 2 different games in 2 different ways. What does it say about the mentality of the team, but also the way that you guys can kind of find a way to win?
Well, in between games, we came inside, and I said these 2 competitions are independent. So the scoreboard will be 0-0, and you have to manage each one of these games in a different way. I don't know what's going to push you over the top today. I have no idea. And you don't expect it to be that same type of game. So the good news is you've won the first 2 games, and that one was very enjoyable for a lot of people on the team. And the bad news is the score's 0-0, and you got to go figure out a way to do it again. So I always try to find the right mindset to send them out with, and that's important. It's hard to win doubleheaders. It's just hard. It's hard for things to go the right way for you throughout the course of 18 innings, or today, I guess 16 innings. But they found ways, and you get that kind of starting pitching, it allows you to really find some interesting ways to do it, and sometimes it doesn't take all that much when you pitch like that.
Do you think this was the best all-around weekend from the offense? And if so, I guess how encouraging is that the first week of ACC play when maybe competition ramps up a bit to see that?
I think it was. There were some balls just struck more purely this weekend, and I think you can kind of go all the way up and down the thing and find some really good at-bats. It's hard to have all 9 guys A-game at-bats throughout the course of a game or a weekend. But that was pretty close, and I don't want to discount their arms. They had some stuff and variety and different looks, and they were very tough to run on, so I'm pleased. Yes, it's a step in the right direction. There's still sloppiness in some of the at-bats and maybe some recognition issues, but clearly better.
I mean, with what you got out of Drew, and Brody had a good at-bat for you, Jackson had a kind of a good weekend. Does it feel like you have to maybe squint a little bit less to kind of see this outlook you have of this long lineup that you wanted?
Yeah, I mean, it's a battle. Like, it's a battle for me to give the guys the right information, like in game and after game, and what we're going to work on when we do our drill work. So I don't know that I ever have like total clarity on the big picture, but maybe the details for each guy, we try to hone in on that a little bit and try to move each guy along. And then when you run the mass out there, that group should be pretty dynamic if you could do it right. And we saw some dynamic moments. The physicality, I talk about Jamie Burleson and Phil Montano, our strength coach and trainer. We're in the weight room, and that shows. Like, the physicality and the impact shows. And swing is important in pitch selection, but so is the overall physicality and athleticism.
The weekend that Jackson had just how much more of that is what you saw in the fall and preseason?
A ton. Like, that was what we saw. That's what we saw. And when he was on it last year, I think he wore down a little bit, and that's why you saw him try so hard to eat better and do a better job in here in the weight room. And that balance, you're looking at a more physical player, and we have a little bit more catching depth, so that spells him. And DHing is different than catching that game, so that's the benefit of catching depth. And when he was on it last year, that's what you saw: energy, bunt, run, slash it around a little bit. And honestly, he's gonna run into balls, and he's gonna hit some home runs before it's all said and done.
I don't want to make a thing out of this, but really in all 3 games this weekend, Boston College did some stuff that you'll see teams do to kind of maybe try and throw off the timing of pitchers. And it seemed like all 3 guys, all starters, really didn't just handle it well, but maybe even work better after that, dealing with that. So what's that say about them, and how do you coach around that?
Well, task at hand and what you're trying to do in your pitch execution cannot wait. Like, you can't wait. So we've got the pitch clock, and hitters want to manage the pitch clock in different ways. And there's so many rules that we've added to the game, and I'm sure there's a good reason for it. The pitch clock. There's teams that they throw a pitch and they walk around the mound, and the games were 3 hours and 58 minutes. And there were guys not in the box, and so you see the evolution of things to try to pick up the pace, and some of that's for TV. So Major League Baseball can condense into a shorter period of time, so it's more applicable to TV. But those things bring quirky moments in how guys handle it. And some of their guys were in the box and the clock was ticking down, and some of their guys would wait, but the rules allow it. So we see adaptation in how you have to play the game based on the rules. I couldn't tell on the strikeout if he stepped on the correct base. I didn't think I'd ever even have to say those words to you guys in a press conference. Did he step on the green base when he should have stepped on the white? But that's reviewable, and the technology piece and what you can have in the dugout, what you can have on the bat, what you can have in your ear, there's a lot. And I tell the umpires, officiating right now in this era with all of the things that we have injected is not easy. So some of it was probably intentional tactics, and we do some of the same stuff at times, but some of it might have just been utilizing the actual rules and how you feel it allows you to be comfortable as a player.
Jamie struck out the side in his first inning of work. Just how amped up was he, and also just how much fun was it to see him go back out there and execute after not pitching last weekend?
That was a lot of fun. And I think for him to be back out there and be back in rhythm and go do his thing, like you could feel it. And it almost felt like I didn't pitch last weekend. Well, here you go. And you guys have watched him as much as I have. That was probably as good as I've seen it. And when you add a changeup into the equation, then when you have right-handed hitters, that ball down and away, moving and off speed like that is really tough. So he was excited. I was excited. Micah was. Our team was. We feed off that, and he was great.
Max this weekend, obviously yesterday, more disciplined. He was taking walks. He had a rough day to game one, but then he comes back and hits 2 home runs. Just how big is that for him, and what does it say that he was able to kind of adjust and get ready for game 2 with those homers?
He's a talented kid, and he's very smart. Again, he takes a lot of pride in every pitch of the at-bat. And we've talked about it here, like he's fighting for everything up there. And he made a little adjustment in between games. Like he was doing the same thing, and everybody's swing is different. So what he's trying to do and what Faroe are trying to do swing-wise is different. And clearly he's across and smothering some of the things, and a lot of pull, hard, ground hard, but a lot of stuff pulled. And he said, we talked about in between games, like we got to get inside and almost think right now, like lift the ball. And when you look at the swing replays, it wasn't that lifty, but in his mind, it felt that way. So sometimes when you feel it click a little bit, you can ride that, and it tells you maybe more than what you can learn in BP and drills and the things we do in the cage. So that was good. And he's talented. There aren't many people that can do what he can do with the bat.
Drew had 4 homers this week, and 2 of them were from each side. Just for him to be swinging the bat well from both sides, how big is that for you?
Massive. And the pitch recognition. Like we're seeing him recognize, take, and hit some of the pitches I had seen spells of that seemed to give him trouble. And when that clicks, it's a fun thing, and it's not an easy thing, but he's doing a much better job from both sides of the plate, balanced on it, really good solid defense. He makes it look easy. Like some of the plays he's making out there are not as easy as they appear. Well-rounded, did a good job running the bases today. Some of the balls we tagged up on, he was involved in maybe one of those. Not your normal tag up thing, but talented kid, works at it hard.
What are you hoping to see from the team this week to carry the momentum into not just Tuesday, but also the weekend against the rival?
Well, just kind of tomorrow, like relax. Like this is an absolute grind, and then it's a short week, so we have to recalibrate what we're going to do practice-wise, and the travel's different. I think we have three night games or something. Just interesting. Like it's an interesting week, but you could tell. You guys asked me yesterday, emotional team. Well, they like that, and I know that's a tough place to play, but they'll be ready. They'll be excited, and we got some time to settle tomorrow with the storms coming in. This was the right move to play these games, as challenging as the day was. So they'll be good. It's a fun environment. It'll be a good experience.
Anything else?